welcome back. It's been a wee while. We had a minor hiatus over New Year's because one of us had to move, one of us started a different job. You can take the visual cues and see who's done what, as technically both of our backgrounds have changed drastically in that period.
I'm guessing that the stuff piled behind me is kind of the giveaway, though.
I mean,
You
I have a
know,
bunch of shit behind me.
Yours appears to be intentional, you know.
Yeah, like we could do it. Anyway, so tonight on A Cinema Nasty, we will be talking about the cult classic Tremors, directed by Ron Underwood and starring Fred Ward and a very baby Kevin Bacon. I say baby, this back when he's doing Footloose and shit.
Let's dance!
Yeah. This episode will have long blonde hair, world-class tits, an ass that won't quit, and legs that go all the way up.
And my favourite cinematic character ever, Bert. And also one of my favourite shots in cinema, period. But we'll get to that in a bit. So Tremors is I like to count it as a high quality B movie because it is a B movie, right? Its whole thing was it's Jaws, but on land. You know, its whole thing is there's giant worms under the ground. They sneak up and just yank you down. It's a creature feature, but it's just really well done, and it's aged surprisingly well. Apart from the odd, oh, I can see a wire, or because of better quality, you can see when it's someone's stunt double very obviously. But other than that, it's still a really fun movie. We're going to talk about it.
It's probably the movie I have watched the most number of times in my life. It was a big bit of my childhood. I'm not... The only one that I might have watched more is probably Tremors 2.
Very briefly, let's talk about the fact this is a franchise. It only had one theatrical release, which was Tremors 1. Everything else is straight to video or DVD or video on demand. So you have Tremors 2, in which we have, I think they're called Shriekers, the two-legged things, look like wee baby velociraptors. The third one, they could fly, and they were called like ass blasters or something, because they just farted. And... Fourth one...
It is the prequel.
Or it's like the Old West or something. Then there's two films with Jamie Kennedy that were kind of shit, and one of them's in the Arctic. Then there's the last one, which was Shrieker Island, which I need to watch. Apparently it's supposed to be terrible, but also really, really cool.
I'm not sure how I feel about Shrieker Island, but, you know.
Let's get on the topic of Tremors 1. I like how it begins, because it literally begins straight into the titles, like right after the production company, like boom, boom. It also has a really cool effect where the title literally shakes apart, i.e. a tremor, if you will. And the first shot of the movie is Kevin Bacon pissing off a cliff.
It's a beautiful opening.
Yeah. We'll get into this, especially later, but I like that this film sets up its geography and sticks to it. Because this cliff is very important later on.
Actually, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
The whole smorgasbord is kept together throughout the film.
So Kevin Bacon, who is called Valentine McGee, though for the purpose of this, he's simply going to be called Kevin Bacon because it's fucking Kevin Bacon, who, let's just get this out of the way, is Adam, but American.
Fuck you!
It's American Adam. Half of these jobs that he does in this fucking movie, you've done.
Yeah, there was the slow and painful realization that,
He even dresses like you. Like, look what Adam's wearing right now. I'm not calling you out, I don't mean this in a negative way, because I'm pretty sure when I have my thicker mustache and shave everything else, I also look like one of the characters in the movie, which I'm okay with.
You came that close.
just because he's your favorite.
He's also the best character. He's the reason Bert Gummer, he's in every single one of the sequels. But yeah, Kevin Bacon's a wee bit, you know, Adam.
It is true that I've had incidents with septic tanks. Definitely stored beer in a toilet.
We'll get into that bit in a bit. So Kevin's pissing off Cliff. He goes over to Earl, our other protagonist, who's sleeping in the truck, and then, you know, he gets woken up by Kevin Bacon because he fakes his fucking stampede.
Stampede, Earl! Get out the way! Get out the way!
Which, we've talked about this. What constitutes a stampede? There's only like 4 animals there. There's like, what, 4 or 5 cows? What is a stampede?
Yeah, no, I mean, the film immediately brings you into an interesting philosophical discussion about, you know, Is it a certain mass of cows at a certain speed? Is it like hippos? Did you know that you can't have a herd of hippos unless there's a male hippo in it?
I didn't, but I also know hippos are fucking terrifying.
You know,
Mini story, my P1 teacher's husband had a fake leg because of hippo. Yeah, he lost a fucking leg to hippo. Hippos are fucking terrifying, just that. So, we're introduced to both Kevin and Earl, and we're introduced to a running theme, which is rock, paper, scissors. This becomes a genuine, ongoing plot point that huge points of this movie are settled over rock, paper, scissors. Not always legitimately, but they're settled. This one is simply for who cooks breakfast this morning.
it's the system, and you know, looking back on that particular point, I do settle things with rock.
We've
paper,
done that
scissors.
before, yeah.
I definitely do. I think my most recent example was, you know, who was buying the Chinese. But you know, it's just that thing of I might have actually ended up doing this because I watched this film so many times as a kid.
By the way, that wasn't with me with Chinese, because me and Adam are being responsible adults and social distancing. I don't actually think I've seen Adam in person for like 4 years, and we live in the same city.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Let's go too real too quickly. So, they drive back into town, and they
Well,
pan...
there's one query we need to settle here.
Go on.
You have a wife beater and a sleeveless denim shirt. Is there a situation where you can reasonably butt it and not button it up and just not look? Even it defies logic.
But on the way back, we're introduced to our other... I will count this character as the third protagonist, because she's very important to this movie. And that is Rhonda, who we first off get introduced of, oh, she's the new student. And we get Kevin Bacon driving, on a mission to meet this woman. With, what's the description again?
You will have long blonde hair, big green eyes, world-class breasts, ass that won't quit, and legs that go all the way up.
No, Rhonda is the exact opposite.
Well, I'm supposed to monitor these seismographs. Well, you know, they measure vibrations.
Vibrations in the ground.
Yeah.
She's an actual woman. And a nerd. Yay. He is immediately disappointed, and Earl judges him over this. She is studying the area for seismic activity, as she's getting some strange readings. Ooh. I wonder why. It's almost like it might have a plot point later on. Though I do love that when Earl is judging him, Kevin Bacon's only response is,
Well, I'm a victim of circumstance.
I thought you called your pecker.
This is where we arrive into town. This is where Act 2 especially takes place. And it's a town called Perfection, which has a population of 14. And we're introduced immediately back to Melvin. Melvin is a local teen who is
Melvin, touch that truck and die.
Oh man, I'm really shaking.
He's that character. Every horror sci-fi movie has this character, and it is just the why. Why do you do anything? Why do you stop it?
Yeah, but this one's literally called Melvin.
We have some special awards. There might be a Melvin award after this. You'll see why. This is where we get introduced kind of our ongoing side characters. They're introduced to Walter Chang, who a lot of people will recognize because he's in a lot of John Carpenter movies. His name is Victor Wong. You'll probably remember him best from Prince of Darkness or Big Trouble in Little China, which we will need to do one of these days because fuck yeah.
That's another childhood movie. Like, just,
Hell
I
yeah.
don't know how many times I watched it. Actually, half of this is just my childhood.
Yeah. Then we're introduced to the best of the side characters, and this is the Gummers. Bert and Heather, your doomsday preppers who want to live off the grid in their own little bunker in the middle of nowhere. So they're kind of gun nuts. They like to live off the grid. They have a little house, a compound really, just outside of town, up the hill. We'll eventually see there.
It's definitely a bunker.
Yeah, I like to call it compound because compound sounds so much worse.
No, you make it sound like he's leading a cult whenever you call it a compound.
Oh no, I'd call it a compound if they're living off the grid, and which they're genuinely trying to do.
Are they trying to live off the grid, or are they just trying to be self-sufficient?
Both. So with this, we get back to Rhonda. She sees some seismic activity near and desert near her, with first signs of the creature, which almost gets her. This wee mini POV shot, which really reminds me of the floating camera from Evil Dead, except like a very mini one down to the ground rather than floating through the trees.
Actually, some of the filming effects just throughout stuff like that,
Yeah.
really just nicely executed.
That's hey, we need a creature effect, but we haven't got the budget. First person, which was started with okay, the first proper good one was Steven Spielberg with Jaws. Shit, we can't use the fucking shark; it's broken. Just show its perspective, and it works quite well here.
I'm wondering, is Jaws like? I think Jaws is the big example.
I think Jaws is the first good example. It's probably been done beforehand. In fact, I know it has been, because I remember Universal's Wolfman had a couple shots like that.
Okay.
One almost grabs her, but misses her by like that much, and Rhonda gets away. This is where we get to the first real link to Adam, where Bert and Kevin are on garbage day.
Oh, yeah. See, we plan ahead. That way we don't do anything right now. Earl explained it to me.
It's their little, let's just call it rec room, where there is a shitty sofa, a shitty armchair, and just a toilet with beer in it. Not floating. They're not animals. Which was it again? What did they call it again? Like we fancy a cocktail, so he pulls out a beer from the toilet.
I thought he said something about it being Miller time, but maybe
No, I think it was something like that. Don't worry, David. You can edit in the correct answer there.
Dave, if you would correct us, please, future Dave.
Kevin laments, just both of them kind of lament about their jobs because doing day labor sucks. I think both of us can say from experience, depending who you're working with and what your job is, fucking sucks. I remember the worst one I had was just creosoting fence posts.
Consider that a reasonably pleasant
No.
day compared to
It was just the monotony of it. Up, down, flip. Up, down, flip. 800 to go. Yeah, but you know what I mean. You've done a lot of stuff, especially outdoors. But it's
there's one in particular I'm thinking of due to the next scene.
Oh yeah, so the next scene is Melvin. Melvin's a dick. They're sitting trying to empty a septic tank.
Listen, run down to the store and pick me up a 6-pack. I'll pay for it.
Son, beer's for adults.
Fuck off, Melvin. Earl has none of his shit.
You know, not having a plan is what keeps us doing jobs like this.
Just doing jobs like this is you dragging your feet.
Oh, you gonna stand there and tell me in broad daylight that I'm the reason we're still in perfection? You know how close I am to leaving this place right now?
Septic tank bursting, and I've never been hit with a burst septic tank, but I've been within 20 feet of it. That smell is... Adam, your experience?
Well, a couple of different ones. One that actually, really made me think about quitting what I was doing wasn't a septic tank. It was kind of worse.
Oh no.
This dog run we were going to concrete, and I had to go in there. It was a raining day. The thing was equal parts shit and play. And I had to sit and mulch all this down, dig it over and level it out. And that rain just kept coming down to the point where I was just standing in 2 feet of slurry. You see, the next day, hour until the concrete comes, truck's on its way. And we've everything prepped the night before. We've laid some steel and bits and pieces and done some edging and containment. And there, in the middle of this pond of slurry, of dog shit, is a shit. The guy had let the dog out. Christ. And it was just, I don't even know how the dog got in there. No, but there it is, bang in the middle. That shit stayed under the concrete.
Literally the only way that could be worse is if Melvin had been there. Because Melvin, once again, this is his septic tank. This is his shit. It bursts, spraying all over his front garden, all over his porch, and he's laughing his fucking ass off. You idiot. Those two are fucking off. That's your shit to deal with. Literally and literally. Ah.
Well, that was the thing. The customer was more my Melvin than anything else.
They leave, understandably. They leave in quite a rush. Now, we're going to go into this because I just one plot thing. They just pack up the truck. And Kevin brings a vacuum cleaner, which apparently he is fond of. I don't know why it always sticks out. It's like, why do you bring the vacuum? I love this vacuum cleaner. It's like, why don't you use it? It's like, vacuum. Out of everything you could bring, a vacuum. Well done.
I have excited memories of running about with like an old bag vacuum like that in our studio that came with the place.
Yeah.
Doing the Queen bit,
I want to break free. So they leave, and then we get introduced to Nancy, who's waving down, saying, hey, this will be a month's worth of work. I'll pay you, make you lunches, beer. And yeah, they say no. But the nice little introduction is Nancy's daughter. You might recognize her. as another child screaming at monsters in Jurassic Park. Just a nice wee thing. She went on to make Jurassic Park. I think she's done like 2 movies in her life. She doesn't do anything else.
I feel like she got typecast.
No, alright, so she made Tremors. She had a couple other things. She's in Jurassic Park. She makes a cameo in The Lost World. And one of her last film credits was Tremors 3.
Wow.
Yeah, she paints and she's an artist now.
You're talking about she was only ever in completely excellent movies?
Yeah. Like, actually, the only person who has a better track record is the girl who played Newt in Aliens, because her only film to date is Aliens.
Doesn't that technically make her the greatest actress of all time?
Yes. Seconded only to Sigourney Weaver, because I love that woman. Anyway, so they leave, they drive along, I can't believe we said no to free beer and lunch, etc. And we're going to get one of our major signpostings for geography, which is a pylon, which they see someone just halfway up, and they recognize it to be Edgar, because he's wearing that same goddamn jacket he always wears. Once again, they have to do the whole rock, paper, scissors. Kevin loses again, has to climb up to talk to him because they think he's drunk, and we have a fatality. Edgar's dead. Also, his death is like implied to be fucking horrible.
Oh yeah, he died.
They take him to go see Dr. Jim and his wife, and he's like, yeah. He's like, no, he died from exposure, dehydration. He was up there for a couple of days. Just him hanging off this pylon with a fucking Winchester rifle.
Can we point out that it's clear that they originally thought that Edgar just got drunk and went up the pylon?
Yeah.
Now, to me, that says that Edgar was probably just bumbling about, being cheerful and drunk.
Yeah.
And he ended up dying up a pylon, clutching his rifle, with a hangover and dehydration.
Oh no, that makes it so much worse. Also, can we have the prequel movie just Edgar's drunken escapades in perfection?
I can enjoy that.
Yeah. So it's like, okay, that's your first fatality. It's like, oh, that's just sad. That's poor Edgar. He looked like he was in his 70s, possibly. And it's like, oh, that's just not a nice way to go. And it's like, okay, that's fine. No more death. Until the very next scene, because we got the fucking Farmer Fred. Remember Farmer Fred? The man who lives in a fucking shack in the middle of nowhere with a flock of sheep in a paddock. And
one fucking weird scarecrow.
Oh yeah, the scarecrow's just like...
What's wrong with that scarecrow? What's wrong with his mind?
Honestly, I want to believe that scarecrow is from a different movie entirely. Like, it's from those old British horror movies. They're black and white going, but mother, the scarecrow tells me to burn things. It's like, it's from that kind of movie.
We're not talking about your childhood here.
How dare you?
Mother.
So he's doing some gardening. Then the sheep get agitated. And then, something knocks over the creepy scarecrow. Which, to be fair, makes it look like the scarecrow kind of tackles him. But no. Farmer Fred gets dragged into his garden. But don't worry, we get back to see exactly what happens to Fred in a minute. Because we're back to Rhonda! Because the first half of this movie is Rhonda looking at measurements. She doesn't get much to do in the first half of the movie. So we're back to Rhonda, looking at measurements on her instruments.
Doing her damn job.
Yeah, pretty much. Rhonda's actually very professional in all this. She's,
her damn job.
Yeah, she's working away.
You're like, oh, she's doing fuck all over there.
Oh, no. What I'm saying is, she doesn't have much to do in the first half of the movie. She's doing her job, but she doesn't got much to do. So Kevin will pass some road workers who will eventually have a very nice thing while talking about Edgar's death. And they stop after seeing the sheep all bloodied up. Like, one of the few very violent things you see is what happened to the sheep. Sheep are all over the place.
Yeah, they're mangled.
Oh yeah, they get mangled properly. And they look around, see if there's anything they find. And we discussed this last time. I was correct. They just find a hat, Fred's hat on the ground, pick it up, and they find his severed head. It's like originally we thought it was like he'd just been pulled down and his head was left. No, apparently, like, that's supposed to be his severed head.
How did you work out the answer?
Oh no, I actually watched some of the the commentaries and stuff.
Wait, what? So yeah. It was his head got left behind on. Right.
Yeah.
This was a point. Dave and I had an issue with recording. Which
yeah. Okay. If you watched one of the last episodes of the Untitled Nerdcast, I sound like God. That happened with the last time we did this recording. We've already recorded. There's an episode of Tremors that exists, but I sound like God. We'll see him with shotgun again because it's like Jesus, Dad, calm down. Anyway, So we're re-recording now. And we disagreed the first time. It's like, no, he goes, that's his head. No, he's just been pulled down.
Because they said they make a point of it in the movie. They say there's some psycho cutting, like in this scene, that
some psycho cutting people's heads off.
And I was of the opinion that he got pulled down.
Yeah. No, I got nerdy about it and did some research. So
like I'm glad you ruled it laid to rest because we were just at an impasse with that one.
Yeah. I'm glad
I mean, I suppose in the grand scheme of things, I'm not sure how much it mattered, but
not
we
really.
know now. No.
Then, obviously, in a very real reaction, both Kevin and Earl turn tail, drive back to town as fast as they can, passing the road workers, screaming,
Better get the hell out of here! There's a killer on the loose! What? A murderer, man, a real psycho! He's cutting people's heads off! I'm not kidding!
The two road workers like, well, they're fucking joking with us, fuck them guys. And literally, as soon as our protagonists leave, the road workers, one with a jackhammer, accidentally skewer something in the ground. And I love this fucking effect, by the way, because you hear the fucking thing scream, you see some gore, and then the fucking jackhammer just gets dragged along the ground with, I think it wraps around his leg, and just drags him along. And his friend tries to help him, and then there's an avalanche. Once again, geography is important. This is the only road out of town. And they've established it several times, and this road is now gone. And I like that they keep establishing geography. Of course, our heroes do not know about the landslide. All they know is that they get back to Chang's. The phone's dead because the avalanche.
There's missing cattle. There's heads being cut off.
Yeah, you've got 2 fatalities, bunch of dead animals.
Consider it stepped on.
Yeah. Town find the 2 guys who do all the odd jobs, Kevin and Earl, and send them off to the nearest town, which is Bixby?
Yep.
Call for help. So they literally go straight back down that road and drive straight into the landslide. Finding no way around, they see a helmet with some guts in it.
Bixby the town
Yeah.
is as helpful throughout this movie as Bixby the Samsung assistant.
Fucking hell. I choked a little bit laughing on it. Hurt me. Whew. So, they arrive, they see this death, and they go to leave, and the truck gets stuck.
Hold up, I tell you! You gotta bring the clutch!
And then they drive back in town. This is a very quick... By the way, I like the fact that this is such a quick scene, because, like, okay, we drive down the road in town, we drive back to the road to see if we can get out, can't get back, go back to town. Just... It's like A to B to B to A to B. So get back to town. Everyone comes out to wonder why they're back so quickly, and then we see our first sight of literally anything, which is a fucking snake tentacle wrapped around the rear axle. Bert pries out with a shovel, and then there's the haggling begins.
I'll give you boys $5 for this. 20. Okay, 10. 15. Okay, 15.
Damn right, 15.
I don't believe you guys.
So Bert has the idea that there's a bunch of small creatures all over the valley due to, the killing spree, but then we get, this one's sad. This one's like the proper horror movie moment of this movie. And it's night with Dr. Jim and the wife. Okay. If you want to know, Egerton was supposed to join us. This is the scene which broke him and he didn't want to watch the rest of the movie. So Dr. Jim and the wife, they're out in the country. This is their retirement home. They're literally building the house that they want to retire into. And this whole thing set just feels like, I am one day away from retirement kind of thing. Everything they say is like, oh, but we can look up at the stars every night. And, it's like, you two are going to die, and you're going to die so fucking hard. It's going to be horrible. And it is. Because suddenly the lights go out. The generator goes. Jim goes over to check on the generator. It's gone. There's the cables left on the ground.
Yeah, well, you're damn lucky if you're the guy that went to check.
I don't think anyone's lucky in this scene, man.
I would take his way out over hers.
Okay, we'll get into that. So the generator gets fired up in the air, but he thinks it's a natural, like, geyser or something. And then Jim's death is slow as well. It's way slower than it should be. He's pulled into the ground slowly while clutching his wife's hands, and then those fucking tentacles come up, hissing and growling and shit. She gets in the car thinking, she's locked all the doors, it's grand. Accidentally puts the radio on, and then the car is slowly dragged in, and then we get this big long wide shot from like half a mile away, and you see the headlights in the sky. And it's like, oh, that is like, this movie isn't, I wouldn't really, once again, B movie, it's technically a horror movie. This is the only proper horror scene of the whole thing, and it kills me, because like, oh, out of everyone, these two didn't really deserve that kind of death. Melvin did.
They're pretty, they're not gory, but it's more like...
It's sad.
He got eaten.
Okay, we don't really know what happens there, so either the creepy thing pulled her out of the car, or she's literally buried alive.
I've always been of the opinion that she'd be buried alive.
You kind of hope she got pulled out of the fucking car, though.
I think of better ways to die at any rate.
I mean, the implications of all that, she's like, no. No.
Oh, God damn it! That what is it? It's like Dolly Parton or something's playing in the background.
It's not Dolly Parton, but it is a classic country. It's country, something like that.
But you know, it's playing. You got the headlights waving around, and you know that scene is actually just a real classic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, you're not going to turn around and debate it not being a good scene.
No, look, it is.
Yeah, you remember that.
And then we're back to Chang setting up the tentacle for a photo op. It's like, hey, you and your snake monster, $3 for a photo. And it's just Nancy making Mindy pose with it. And that kid, once again, the girl from Jurassic Park, is so uncomfortable. It's like, doesn't want to do it. And we're going to talk about this. Why the fuck is Melvin messing around with the cash register?
Because he's a thieving tramp.
Melvin, you bastard.
He's Melvin. Everyone, he's just Melvin.
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 Has there anyone been called Melvin in film who hasn't been a right dick? So, Bert takes charge. Well, Bert tries to take charge. He kind of takes charge, but people are idiots. And he makes a plan. Though people are, once again, thinking him and his wife are being paranoid with all this. And overcautious.
You two are just loving it, aren't you?
Come on, Nancy, let's don't get personal about this thing, but we gotta do something.
Hell yes. We are completely cut off. We got the cliffs to the north, mountains to the east and the west. That's why I had me settled here in the first place. Geographic isolation.
Total geographic isolation.
Then it's like, okay, we've got horses. Who's the best riders? And once again, it's the cowboys, Kevin and Earl. So they plan to send them to the nearest town on horseback, while Bert and Heather aim to look for Rhonda, because once again, she's still out in the desert doing her job. And, Christ. So they have a rock, paper, scissors to see who gets the old rifle. Kevin does, but then, you know...
It's important. This is the only time Earl loses at rock, paper, scissors.
Loses? But then he wins. Because then Heather goes...
Wait a minute, guys. Y'all might have to take something packs more of a punch than that 30-30. Won't you take one of our Browning autos? Better than that, won't you just take my Model 70? It's 375 H&H mag.
Oh, thanks, Heather.
Yeah, that sucks. Here's my big fuck-off gun. And then, Melvin.
Damn it, Melvin!
He's only kidding.
You came that close. Too close. No more games.
Melvin, one of these days somebody's gonna kick your ass.
Yeah, they probably should have done it way earlier. Because Melvin's... This is going to be coming back to it. Only like once in this whole movie do I feel sorry for Melvin, and it doesn't last long. Once. Kevin and Earl set off across the desert. They stop at Dr. Jim's, thinking they've left, but then they hear the music because the radio's still on.
You just get like the next piece of that classic shot,
and just them digging up, and they just find the front of the car, and the lights are still on.
It's just like it's nice that they came back to that conclusion. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Though I do like the response is to ride the fuck away as fast as humanly possible. I think yes, you pointed this out the last time we recorded. They end up where they were earlier in the film when they were building a fence. They passed that, and they don't think we ever settled on the name. I think we called it an aqueduct.
It's not an aqueduct. It is
storm drain.
It would be like a storm drain, but it's probably for irrigation, given the desert valley they're in.
This isn't important. We just really stuck a name here.
Irrigation ditch.
Because as they're riding, the horses get spooked. This is okay. We're about to get one of the fatalities that I don't like watching animals die in movies. It's always kind of bad. They both get kicked off their horses, and one of the horses gets attacked by the tentacles, and it's like, oh, it's horrible. Kevin shoots a couple off them, but the horse is killed. The other one we never see again. That fucker ran into a different movie. It just left. And I don't believe it survived. Kevin shoots, and then the ground starts splitting and breaking. It's like,
Must be a million of them. Nope, just one.
oh, the reveal. Now, for creature designs, occasionally, especially ones in the late 80s, early 90s, are just like, oh, well done, especially for practical effects. And this is really just cool. An earthworm with the fucking beak and the claws, and then you see the tentacles or its tongue.
Like, but it's the fact, right? You've got your horrible. I mean, I'd be pissed off if I had 3 hissing tongues that came flailing out of my mouth every time I, stood up.
First off, we both know it's a lie.
No, I'd be pretty entertained.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, you got a fairly cruel hooked beak. There's something Sarlacc-ish.
Yeah, I was gonna say it does remind me. Yeah. But this,
and even their means of locomotion's kind of nasty, and
because they got the
nubbins.
Scales, yeah. So basically, what you're looking at is a giant fucking earthworm, but metal as fuck. Because they realize shooting it doesn't work, they run away. And this is one of my favorite. They're gonna do it, because they run towards the not aqueduct, maybe a storm drain. They run towards that. It's like, we're gonna jump it, we're gonna make it, and they just don't. They fail, they fall, and then you hear, whoom, and the wall just cracks in. It's like,
Stupid son of a bitch. Knocked itself cold.
Called my ass. He's dead.
Fuck you!
Hey guys, what's going on?
and then Rhonda turns up and shits himself. Hi, fellas, hi. Just Kevin nearly shitting himself after that. Fuck you, it's great. Yeah, and then just get the pry thing open and it falls out dead, and you get first proper look with it. By the way, I love that if you look at the beak, it's broken.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a nice little nod. It's like, yeah, that thing hit that at like going like 30 miles an hour. It fucking smashed its face to bits. But then they go through like, it's like she's going, oh, this time I must go get her out. It hasn't got eyes, it must be blind. But Kevin and Earl are just going around going, I wonder how much we can sell it for. We're getting more than $15 for this one.
She's got her schemes and machinations about how many there are and working things out and, figuring out how old it is, but you also have some really quality dialogue from the two of them, like that's one big mother.
I found the ass end! Jesus, we really caught something here!
And,
just 20
feet away. Or no, Chang won't get his slick mitts on this for $15.
Yeah, but
just really great little sort of...
Yeah, but then it's just her coming with, there's 3 more of them. 3 more of these 20 foot long man-eating worms of death. So they walk back to her truck, and we have I think the only real fake jump scare of the movie is where Earl accidentally steps a prairie dog hole. You know?
Yeah, I think it might actually be.
Yeah, because it's not one of those movies that has a lot of jump scares. Doesn't have any, really. Most of the scares are set up, you're like, you know it's coming. They're advertised when they come. They get the whole thing, okay, it's fine. And then the seismic devices just start going.
Yeah.
And then we get I always love this. It's when protagonists can work out, okay, this works in making sure we don't die. It's not a solution, but it works. And that's them getting on the rocks.
I mean, you're on a rock. You could. Floor is lava.
Oh, I love Floor is Lava. Not watched it on Netflix, but I love the game as a kid. But the thing sticks its tentacles up, and they see there's one missing. Stumpy. It's the one who tried to eat their fucking truck earlier. They see the trap, they hunker down. This one discussion, we get they all start theorizing. She thinks it's a prehistoric monster. Kevin, I think, thinks it's aliens, and Earl thinks it's a government project or something. And then...
He thinks it's like radiation.
They think it's safe to leave, and Kevin does the whole stick test. It's just been waiting.
Oh yeah, it's just hanging about.
Yeah, and it's like, oh yeah, that character earlier who stuck up a fucking pylon for 3 days. There's a reason he was up there for 3 days. These things are patient as fuck.
They get the realization that old Edgar had a rough time. And yeah,
Yeah.
they sit around quietly hoping for a while.
And then they all pee. Then we wake up in the morning, and Kevin wakes up cuddled to Rhonda, but then he moves away because he's like, oh, this is sweet. Nope, she's not that.
Long blonde hair, big green eyes, world-class breasts, ass that won't quit, and legs that go all the way up.
They find out Stumpy is still waiting, and they work out that the same thing's going to happen with Edgar. You know, Earl and Kev start arguing, but then Rhonda just picks up a fucking stick and starts pole vaulting from rock to rock, and we have the most wholesome, like, you know, montage in any film you'll ever have, and it's just people
It's lovely.
pole vaulting in the desert. It's like,
nicely shot.
yeah, you get the wee puffs of air from the tentacles trying to get their poles, and I love the fact that Earl just can't do it to begin with.
Oh yeah, he's like, yeah.
Nope. Yeah. Then they get to the truck and have to have a quick escape because Stumpy tries to pull it down the same way per Dr. Jim's wife. I just love the fact that how they drive away is just her going through the cabin window and driving with her hands, not be able to see where the fuck they're going, and just booking it.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's and what's nice is like they did. You know, that was one of those things where, you know, in a movie they could have like some slick moves and figure something out.
No,
really.
it's something stupid they did on the spot.
It's dumb.
Yeah,
And it's good because it's dumb. I mean, there's a big underground monster trying to eat them. Is that when you do your best thinking?
I do work well under pressure, but in that situation, I probably would have done something stupider. Like, so I managed to pole vault. I was like, I pole vaulted all the way back to town. Why didn't you get the truck? Fuck. They get back to town, bring everyone up to speed. They try to get hold of Bert and Heather. Fortunately, they can't. And then some town folk will just assume someone will come. You know, the phone lines are down. Someone's going to come. And we just get a cut to someone who was there to set to repair the phone lines, has already been killed by a fucking graboid. Oh yeah, these things are called graboids, by the way. And annoyingly, Melvin helped come up with a name. Chang's named them, but Melvin helped.
No, but we're not up to there yet.
I know, I just wanted to bring it up. I really hate Melvin. Everyone realizes, you know, okay, if we're just quiet, they won't attack.
Then we get into this sort of, it's a bit of a plan, but it's also like just a setup for like a weird moment of calm.
Yeah.
You know, we have some time.
Okay, so we're going to plan. We're going to get to the mountains. Everyone's being really quiet. Everyone's calmed down, by the way. No one's freaking out. And then, this is my note. Joey note says, Melvin continues to be an arse.
Oh, I've got fucking Melvin. You're going to be shitting this basketball.
I scared you, didn't I? You little asswipe. You don't knock it off, you're gonna be shitting this basketball.
Yeah.
The asswipe that cried.
Screams and throws a basketball at someone. He's a fucking prick. Now, I said there was one time in this whole movie I feel sorry for Melvin. It comes up now. Melvin leaves laughing his head off, dribbling his basketball, and then it doesn't come back up. And there's a streak of dirt. And this, I know, everyone hears him scream thinking, this is Boy Cried Wolf. That's where we get the line of, I'm going to swallow that basketball. And you see Melvin up a lamppost, bleeding, holding the thing. It's like, no, Melvin had a genuine scare. Scare for his life. This is the only time I feel sorry for him in the entire movie. This is it.
No, wee dick deserves it.
Oh yeah, he does, but this is the only time I've like that's it. Everything else is just, fuck that guy.
You have more empathy for him than me.
Then, you know, it attacks. They all are separated. Most of them end up in Chang's.
Mainly when it runs about a bit.
Yeah.
And scares them all.
Yeah. So most of them in Chang's. And everyone goes quiet until you hear the ponga, 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 ponga. Because, oh no, it's just a little blonde girl who survived, who will one day survive Velociraptors. She's way younger in this movie. And you get the POV of the graboid going for her. Kevin manages to just get her off the thing just in time, and you see that pogo stick go, and the fucker eats it. But I know the fact that everything it doesn't like to eat, it spits up. Pogo stick, generator, and they fucking fire the things too. Maybe a stick of dynamite later, we'll get to that. Them being able to spit is actually, I love the fact that it is set up the things can spit. It's set up early.
Yeah, I kind of have to wonder about the time and how they decided on that. Now that I think.
Yeah, it's like, we'll get to that later. Mindy gets into the house with her mum. Kevin ends up on top of Rhonda's truck while the rabbi tries to pull it down. And Rhonda, out of nowhere, gets stuck in barbed wire. That just like, barbed wire fucking hurts, by the way. I don't care who you are. I have been stuck in barbed wire and cut my fucking legs up too. I wish I had Kevin Bacon to get me on my trousers for it, but hey, it didn't work. Would you like to know what my next note is, by the way? Melvin continues to be a useless fuck nugget.
I have fucking Melvin.
Kevin gets down to save her because the graboid comes up, and he uses a pickaxe to take out one of the tongues, and then strips Rhonda of her trousers after getting tangled up. And I love the fact that Earl came out to help save her. And his first thing's run, and immediately have to run back in with everyone else.
I forgot about the pickaxe bit. You're right.
You know, Kevin gives Rhonda some first aid while Earl watches, and she's like, I know it's supposed to be like Earl's like, hey kid, make your move, but it really just does look like, hey Rhonda, nice legs. It's just like, yeah. Miguel, by the way, I fucking love Miguel. Miguel actually survives the Tremors 3. His death in Tremors 3 isn't worth it. But yeah, Mel gives her some trousers and asks how long they can leave. And then that's where Earl tells him the creature's a patient. The patient's Job. Then we have the... also another thing set up earlier in the movie. Their ancient ice machine kicks in, being loud as fuck. If only Stingy Chang, man, had just spent a little bit more money on his ice machine. It's his ice machine.
I'm pretty sure he was the only person with a freezer in the town.
I know, we didn't see him inside anyone else's house. For all we knew, those two might have had a fucking mini fridge. So the ice machine kicks off.
They store their beer in a toilet.
The graboid bursts through the fucking floor. And I'm going to say this now, and you may agree, this is the most violent death in the movie that we see on screen.
I would definitely, yeah, you know what? It's probably not the most violence we see if you include the likes of some of the things that happen to the graboids themselves.
Oh yeah, not human violence.
But yeah, human violence wise.
Because Chang gets in this fucking thing, and he's just in the mouth screaming. He's dragged back and forth and dragged into the ground. And then another one breaks in, and they try to escape to the roof. This is, once again, this is where the movie slightly shows its age, because this is where you get DVD and Blu-ray quality, and you can see the guy playing Earl is not the guy climbing the shelves. It's obviously a stunt double. Everyone else is like, oh yeah, there's Kevin Bacon and shit. It's like, that's not the guy who plays Earl. Not saying anything. The guy was an older actor even making this. It's I blame Blu-ray and DVD for being able to see that now.
I would defend that being a stunt doubleable thing for anybody, because you see jumping around on top of like shelves that are meant to fall over.
Yeah.
Or just not secured to the ground. It's really fucking hard.
Yeah.
See, hopping around on top of stuff that can move that much, it's really difficult. And you shouldn't do it, and it's extremely dangerous, and that's why I've been shouted at about several workplace safety violations.
The top of shelves that fall over, Rhonda doesn't get to the roof. She gets the domino effect of shelf falls, and hits her shelf, and she gets fired out the window. And immediately everyone's on the roof, looking down to see she's okay. No one there. Rhonda, being the amazing female character that she is, has already climbed the fucking water tower to safety. So they tell everyone to get onto the roof for safety. And meanwhile, at the Gummer homestead / compound / fortress, Bert and Heather get home after their search, unaware that the creatures are underground. Heather, uses binoculars, and she sees everyone's on the roof, but just thinks it's a bit weird. I love how Kevin gets the radio. They hang him off the side of the roof by his ankles, and he's trying to lean in the window to get the radio. And this is where David gets his favourite scene in the movie, and is the best scene in the movie, and I will fight people over this. So they get word to the Bert, trying to warning that no, it's underground.
Not even Bert anymore. He's the Bert.
Bert. He's Gummer.
No, you're calling him the
Bert.
No.
Every movie refers to him in full name. He's Bert Gummer. Legend.
You are, because I think we differ a little bit. I do enjoy Bert. Mm-hmm. I do. But personally, I enjoy the sort of the more hijinks side of it. He is still good. I don't know that he is the pinnacle of, best scenes.
No. But this scene is the best in the movie, and is my favorite reveal in cinema history. So they attacked. When the creature comes through the wall, the radio cuts out, and you're just in the town, and you're shooting in the distance. Think, that's them dead. But then you realize the shooting hasn't stopped. In fact, it's only gotten louder. And you cut back to those two just firing away, running at bullets. And then as they just gently step back, the camera just turns slightly to reveal every fucking gun ever to exist. And they just are pulling off fucking Uzi, rifle, everything. Bird almost gets pulled in, but you know, Heather's there with his back. And then they pull out the full power of the Second Amendment, which is they pull out a fucking elephant gun, which I'm pretty sure isn't legal under the Second Amendment, and then blow its fucking head off. And just gives you the line of,
Broke into the wrong goddamn rec room, didn't you, you bastard?
I can confirm though, an elephant gun isn't a problem.
really?
Yeah, you'd have more issues with their automatic weapons than anything else. But an elephant gun, you can own a cannon.
We'll get into that. So the first intentional kill of this movie goes to Bert, though Kevin and Earl still have the first unintentional one with the brick wall. They get to the roof, let them know they killed one creature. Kevin lets them know there's two left. Bert and have they're on the roof, and they try to take shots. Now this is where actual physics works. Is you can't shoot into the ground. It'll go about a centimeter in and done. So Earl tells them to go get help, and then Rhonda points out that Stumpy is up to something. Stumpy's a sneaky little fucker. He's beginning to break and dig through the foundations of the building. And you see the buildings are shake, Nancy and Mindy's house, etc. Now, this we get the character who I think has had the least lines in the entire movie, which is Nestor. Do you remember Nestor? We haven't talked about Nestor, because Nestor had like 3 lines.
This is pretty much Nestor's
Yeah.
whole arc right here now.
Yeah, he was hiding on top of a caravan. It gets tipped. And he panics and tries to hide on top of a giant tire. Which technically would, if he'd had enough time to make sure nothing's seen him get on it, would have helped, sound him out. So they couldn't hear him, except, didn't work. And he gets pulled through the tire. That's Nestor's entire involvement with this movie. He had a couple lines, and then he gets stuck through a tire. Bye, Nestor.
Liked your trailer.
Yeah, trailer looked nice. Do you know my next note is? Melvin begins to Melvin like a bitch.
No way, man.
Alright, just have another fucking Melvin there.
No, you guys gotta do something.
So the whole point is like Bert and Heather, they're gonna come back and get help. Except one of the grab boys just accidentally bumps onto their truck, setting off the alarm. Bye bye truck. I'm sorry, Bert. Then this is we talked about this last time, which you didn't see because this episode will be re-recorded. But I love when a film, be a creature feature, horror film, whatever, they have a plan. Pitch Black, okay, we need to get batteries from A to B so that we can leave with this escape pod. That's the plan. The Thing, we're going to do blood tests. That's the plan. So, the plan is, Earl remembers there's a bulldozer, and there's a trailer they can pull. But they realize it's the other side of time. So they all rush into action because, the Changs is starting to be buckle under the weight of losing its foundations.
Couldn't we distract them somehow?
Yeah, good. Something to keep them busy, like a decoy.
Hey, Melvin, you want to make a buck?
But I love this. Miguel. I love Miguel. Miguel doesn't get enough love in this fucking movie. He starts up with an old tractor as a distraction.
How about the tractor? Walter's little tractor? Start him up. Let him go out by himself. Let those things follow him all over if they like that noise.
As Kevin and Earl have rock, paper, scissors. So originally, Earl wins the right to go, get the bulldozer, but of course, Kevin Bacon, being Kevin Bacon, punches him in the stomach and jumps off the roof. And then the tractor trips over, turns off, and they come for Kevin. And once again, Rhonda, just being the useful woman she is, pulls a Sam Neill from Jurassic Park.
Now stop! They're coming! Be quiet! Don't move!
So he stays still, and then you see the tentacles are coming through the ground. Oh, I just love they all try to make some noise, but Rhonda breaks open the hose to the water tower just to create that.
Saves the damn day there.
Yeah, it's like I like smart decisions in horror movies. It's like that's good. Good on you. They all get lured away. Kevin makes the bulldozer, and they try. Sorry, I can't speak today. I'll take a drink. I'm cutting this bit out. Give me a second. Thank you, Future David, for cutting up my flubber.
Dave's doing stuff.
During the distraction, Kevin gets to the bulldozer, gets a trailer, and drives back into town. Everyone jumps on board, and the treads are too hard for the graboids to do anything with. It's like, yay! Plan works, it's nice to see a plan work. They head up to Bert and Heather, who I love the fact that they have been proactive this entire time. What's everyone else done? Melvin has sat on the roof pissing himself. Everyone else has had a wee DIY plan of how to escape. What have Bert and Heather done? They've made some homemade pipe bombs from everyday things. Like they're cutting off the tubing off the roof to use as the base, and of course they know how to make a fucking pipe bomb. They went the same school as Kyle Reese, apparently.
I'm not sure how much to weigh in on this topic. There's some youthful pursuits.
Okay, so they arrive. Bert has to decide. I like the fact that they're it's like you're about to go on holiday with your partner, and it's like, shit, do I want to take this coat or this one? Bert has that, though. It's with fucking guns.
What do you think? Max firepower this.
They join them, and Melvin asks for a gun, and Bert replies with the correct answer, which is,
I wouldn't give you a gun if it was World War III.
Which is even more of a burn when you realize that is exactly what Bert has been planning for this entire time. Oh, yeah. He's planning for World War III. Yeah, it's like, even if it was Bert's ideal situation of the apocalypse, he wouldn't give Melvin a gun. Which is correct. So they continue trekking towards mountains. Bert laments he had to leave his fortress because, you know...
Food for 5 years. 1,000 gallons of gas, air filtration, water filtration, Geiger counter, bomb shelter. Underground. Goddamn monsters.
So, shout out to Tremors 3. His fortress gets upgraded where he has fucking concrete.
Oh, yeah.
His entire property is based like 4 feet of concrete on the ground. So they start seeing the dirt being kicked off in the distance as the graboids try stuff. And Bert is in the front of the bulldozer and he tries to warn them, but the things are clever bastards. And they have dug a ditch and the bulldozer falls into it. And they almost lose Bert. Bert goes flying onto the ground, manages to clamber up safely. I just love that Bert's like, okay, fuck this shit.
Alright. Hungry? Eat this! Everybody down!
Oh, yeah.
And they realize that the explosions hurt the graboids because, you know, sense through sound and shit. And they scatter. I'm sorry.
I think my favorite bit of that bit was, you know, the fact that they're like, they dug a goddamn trap, and it's just the line, like goddamn bastards! You know what? It's like, you know, we got our Bert and Melvin things going on, but like goddamn bastards.
So yeah, Melvin's just continuing to fucking make a noise about all this.
They've scared the bejesus out of them with the bomb.
Yep. And they realize, hey look, conveniently enough, there are some rocks over there.
Those handy Pleistocene alluvials.
So they use another bomb distraction. Bert gives Melvin a gun to stop him, to shut him the fuck up. And they all run. Melvin runs out first. The first thing to do is turn around and fire genuinely in the creature's directions, which, by the way, he would have shot someone. And we find out Bert's a very intelligent man. Because there's no fucking bullets in that gun. No. So they all get to the rocks, and
Bert! You asshole, there's no bullets in this gun!
Got you moving, didn't he?
fucking love Bert in this movie. Yeah, now the survivors are trapped with 2 creatures surrounding them. Bert once again laments that he couldn't have just done this at home, which I think would have been his ideal, like, anything. Could have been a zombie apocalypse. Could be fucking werewolves.
Bert's laments were deeper than that.
Yeah.
Bert was intending to just give up on life.
Oh no. He says if it came to it, He had a plan.
If it comes to starvation, I know what I'm doing. Take one of these, walk right out there with the fuse lit and let them take me down.
Good Lord, honey.
Boom.
Well, that was the only plan they had at that point.
Though, with hearing that, Earl has an idea after hearing Bert's suicidal idea. And they go fishing with bombs, where they literally just wrap some fuse around a bomb, throw it out, light it. And this comes up with the favorite lines.
What kind of fuse is that?
Cannon fuse.
What the hell you use it for?
A cannon.
He's allowed a cannon. Freedom. All
Fair enough. So I love the fact that it works once and it explodes, and the only person who really gets covered in shit is Melvin.
That made me happy too.
It's like, Melvin, you prick. They try it again, and it's Stumpy, who, as we have established a couple times now,
Wily.
Yeah, so the bomb goes down and he spits it back up.
Oh my God! Get back! Get back! Run!
It scatters everyone. I think, who is it? Yeah, Earl, Kevin, and Rhonda get blown off the rock. And they freeze. Well, Stumpy is just there. The other survivors try to lure it back. Even fucking Bert jumping off the ground, jumping up and down, trying to get attention. And then, but Kevin's like, no, this one ain't dumb. He knows it's just waiting around. So I love this plan. This plan, you have to work on the geography of it. They're almost about 10 feet away from where the film began. From where Kevin Bacon was just pissing off a cliff, and they were looking after some cows. So he has a plan.
There are three of them like this.
Mm-hmm.
And you got your Tremor here.
Yeah.
Your Graboid.
Yeah.
Continue explaining.
Okay. Kevin just runs. Begins running. Earl follows him, and then Rhonda follows up, because she's the only one with a fucking lighter.
And they're running that way?
That's one of the plan that, maybe no one thought about. So they run to the edge of the cliff, where he holds off on lighting the bomb until it gets closer and closer, throws it, and misses. I love it. He had a plan. He was thinking 3 steps ahead. And everyone else runs, but he waits. And as it explodes, he jumps out of the way. And the thing, freaked out, has to run away and just out through the mountain into clear air. And as it falls, what does Kevin Bacon say again?
Can you fly, you sucker?
Can you fly, sucker?
And then
Can you?
Just and splats up like a giant fucking maggot. Everyone cheers.
The most brutal death of anything in it was definitely that
Stumpy?
thing explode. Stumpy got like the full treatment.
Yeah, though for a creature that lives underground and has no real concept of above ground, can you imagine how confused it was for his last 15 seconds of life? Going, well, what the fuck is going on here?
No, man, I've got to watch that in real life. I had a guinea pig when I was a kid.
Oh,
Guinea
no.
pigs. Guinea pigs they're like real morons about the concept of down. They can kind of get up things, but going back down them, like if you present them with a sheer face, they kind of just don't really know what they're at anymore.
Okay.
And it honestly, all it made me think of was that Tremor flying through the air every time. Because occasionally it would hop off things, but it would just not really know what it was doing. It wouldn't have a concept of where it was going to land or anything like that.
Yeah.
It would just kind of be like,
That, or we get the situation from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Hello, ground.
So they get back to town. Everyone starts celebrating. Earl and Kevin are working out how to sell this story. Rhonda takes a picture with a camera loaned from Bert. Then Kevin and Rhonda talk awkwardly, like two people who really like each other, but just don't know how to fucking talk to each other because they're fucking anxious. Everyone's seen that, or at least one time in your life, you've been one of those people. Even if you don't think you have been, everyone was a teenager. It happens. I love the fact that then Earl just guilt trips Kevin into going to talk to her. Kevin tearing up his ideal woman picture, and we get a very nice end of movie kiss and credits roll. And I honestly think it's like one that feels kind of nice and earned.
It's fun and cheesy. It's just
This is the exact opposite.
It's a throwback to a lot of 80s stuff, really.
Though I will say this whole romantic plot is the exact opposite of Maximum Overdrive.
100%. Yes.
Whereas Maximum Overdrive just everything just happens with no real reason. Like it escalates so fucking quickly, if you remember watching that episode. If not, go watch the episode of Maximum Overdrive we did. This one's like, they meet, they kind of fancy each other, they're awkward. And then, you know, it literally takes someone to just push him and go, look, stop being a nerd and ask her out.
The question remains, though.
What?
Does she have legs that go all the way up?
I mean, she does look good in shorts. So, that was Tremors. Yeah, I love Tremors. Tremors is a great wee movie. I know, once again, we've just talked about it. If you don't watch Tremors, go watch it. It's easy enough.
Yeah.
Go watch it.
Yeah.
I would definitely, okay, maybe not all of the sequels, because some of them are like straight to sci-fi, but Tremors 2 is also a really fun watch.
Tremors 2 is solid.
Yeah.
After that, it starts getting ropey. And Tremors 2 doesn't just take the same concept and repeat it. It does its own thing.
Well, okay.
In a lot of ways.
It goes up to like Act 2 is basically a pseudo remake of the original with an evolved version of the blowing up graboids with dynamite trick. But then Act 3 is just like, oh yeah, by the way, there's these things. And Bert has the immortal line of, I'm out of ammo. This has never happened to me before. Also, the main hero in that movie is Earl. Kevin Bacon's fucked off with the Rhonda. They fucked off and got rich. Earl's like has a fucking emu farm or something.
See, that one is the one that like kind of really entertained me later in life because I knew an Earl-like character that had an ostrich farm.
Okay. Now, moving on, we're going to do the awards. Because we have 3 awards. Well, no, we have 2 awards we've already established, and the new one. Let's start off with our favourite one of...
Smithy!
So Smithy goes to the best death. What is your best death in this movie?
I'm torn.
See, I am too. Either it's going to be Dr. Jim's wife in that car in that fucking harrowing scene, or Can You Fly, Sucker?
See, I'm torn between Can You Fly, Sucker, and Old Fred.
Ooh. Okay, since we both picked Can You Fly as a side note, I'm going to go with the car being pulled under, because that's the final shot, the lights in the sky are just like, Jesus.
God, well, we do both love that.
Yeah.
Actually, great death scene.
I mean, technically,
You know what, yeah, I suppose, no, that one fits in better, right? Because the other one, he just pops down and disappears.
Yeah.
Can You Fly, Sucker isn't like a great death scene. That one is the scene that's most Smithy-like. You're right, it is that one. It's the headlights beaming into the sky.
I feel there is an honorable mention here, because he does have an amazing death scene, and that's Walter Chang. His death's just fucking terrifying. That'd be an honorable mention. Wouldn't be the best, but still like one of the biggest ones in the movie.
Walter Chang is the most brutal by far.
Oh god, yeah, it takes so long. Second award, going to the Gus Frig Award of
Yo mama.
the Rec Room Siege. Even as a kid, that surprised me. I was like, what the fuck? Out of everything, they're kicking the shit out of one of the monsters out of nowhere. That's my Yo Mama award. For my one goes to, you broke into the wrong goddamn Rec Room, you bastard.
Are you sure? Are you sure it's not Stick Sally?
No, it's still going to be the Rec Room.
Sally lives the spirit of the Gus Fring Award.
No, I'm still going with the one that surprised me most of. What the fuck? It's still that every time I watch, it's like this is like.
Actually, no, the Scarecrow. The Scarecrow's the person that should get the Yo Mama. Okay,
no, these awards are personal. So for me, it's going to be the Siege. Will yours still be the Scarecrow?
No, not really. The obvious choice is actually the first construction worker death. Roadman.
Okay.
That's the Yo Mama.
No, there is a third award, and this award is because of this movie.
Melvin.
The Melvin, which is for the most useless fucking dick in the entire movie. Now, obvious reasons, Melvin has won the first Melvin Award because fucking Melvin.
Melvin, touch that truck and die.
Oh man, I'm really shaking.
That's enough about that. We got to talk about the next episode, because the next episode is one of those ones of holy shit. Okay, once again, all our films have to be released in cinema. This does not feel like a cinematic release. This feels like it should have been a DVD release. But oh my fucking god, is it fun! Like, I mean, it's dumb as shit. It shouldn't work, and it's dumb as fuck. Of course, I'm talking about Jason X. Jason, hidden space. He just wanted his machete back. Fucking hell. So yeah, that's going to be fun. But yeah, thank you for joining us in our comeback tour, apparently, because we haven't been around for a while. Join us for
I'm gonna
this.
stop moving house for a while.
He's going to stop moving house for a while.
Oh, I also changed jobs.
So have I. During the last episode, both of us have
just done that.
Yeah.
I'm about to do it.
Yeah, both of us have got new jobs since we last seen you. For more content, go on to InfinityCast YouTube, but we have Instagram, we have Facebook, all of this shout, and also go to infinitycast.co.uk for more things. We also might have a new program, which I think we teased last time, which will be an audio format, but we'll let you know more about that once we actually record it.
We get around to things eventually.
Eventually. Like,
hey, we might actually have a schedule.
Don't get to it. Don't put unrealistic things in our future. Anyway, thanks for watching. See you next time for Jason Voorhees in Space. Bye.
Yeehaw.